And welcome back to Be Fair, a podcast hosted by me, and that's Ehryn right here. And I'm joined by fellow co-host Miss Lovely Lisa. How you doing, Lisa?
Hi, I'm fantastic.
Cool.
I don't know what else you want. I'm good. It's been a good weekend.
and of course, our new co-host, Miss Sara Citrine.
Hey,
Or as I like to refer to her as Lady Citrus.
Lady Citrus.
At your service.
Citrus women. Just kidding.
I love it.
So we are just about right here, halfway through the season, the second season of To Be Fair. We're gonna take a little bit of a break here after this episode. We might have a few specials, like because next month is May is mental, I call it. So it's Mental Health Awareness Month for May. So we always do at least a special episode for that. Always, we did one last year, and this is the second year. So, like, I mean, the plan
Clearly,
is
it's always.
Yeah, the plan is we keep that tradition. And then June is LGBT Pride Month, so we do something then too. But yeah, so our listeners will get some special.
Sorry, it was my wind chime. Sorry.
I prefer Ehryn's, I think.
At least mine had good pitch.
Aww.
Yours is just a bitch.
No.
But
oh, is that not a female dog?
It is not.
Well, it's not a bitch. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna take a little bit of a break though from just regular weekly episodes. We'll probably have some specials through the time, but we're gonna try and enjoy some fresh air, do some good self-care in the fresh air.
Be outdoorsy.
Be outdoorsy AF.
Some of us are so outdoorsy.
I am so outdoorsy. I am just so outdoorsy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to be outdoorsy. I've been talking to guys. Plural. Yes, there's plenty of guys I'm speaking to. I am not actually dating any. So I feel like I'm not at the point of, $ LUT yet, but I am really close. No, I'm not close at all.
What's money lut?
Money lut. A bitka. you know.
Why would anybody want to kiss rocks? Do you remember that episode?
Okay. Anyway, so we're getting far off track here, but anyway, so tonight's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about trauma and how we have overcome some, how we are working on overcoming some, and our plans to overcome some. I've really been thinking a lot about trauma lately, and because obviously I live a life full of trauma, which has caused me to be the queen of drama.
Perhaps. That was a very nice play on words. I was gonna interrupt you and be like, do you mean drama, not trauma? But I thought, trauma is pretty serious. So.
Yeah, you can't have some drama without a little bit of trauma.
Sure. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
I mean, either way, you're going to be dramatic because of the traumatic, or you're going to have trauma from the drama.
Agreed. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Like nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's like with trauma, overcoming it is an obstacle that I have yet to figure out what is the best way to do. And I'm pretty sure I am not alone in that aspect. How about you, Sarah? I mean, you and I have had a lot of conversations about trauma and how it's impacted. What are some things that you work on here with some of your trauma that you work with?
Well, I think too, kind of reframing how we look at overcoming trauma or what that looks like. I think initially when I started working through some of the different traumas that I realize I hold on to in my body and in my mind, whether I realized it to begin with or not. Um, just having to kind of redefine what that looks like. I thought that maybe it would just be like, oh, you acknowledge it and let it go and you're good. And it's not like that at all. And so I'm kind of learning that there are pieces of, my past that are probably going to have some sort of camp within me somewhere. You know what I mean? And the secret for me about dealing with trauma is like when those things crop up, whether I expected it or not, whether I was prepared for it or not, is just really allowing those feelings to be, taking the time to just allow that piece to kind of purge, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
with all the other skills that I know of, right? So without letting it impact others around me in a negative way or without it, further damaging my road to recovery.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's a good way to look at it too. Um,
Does
I
that answer your question? I'm just
well,
trying to really embrace and accept what my feelings are as they come up, because I used to be like, what is this? I thought I was over this. And then it becomes like about fighting the feelings.
mhm,
And that's way more exhausting than just kind of taking the river of whatever.
right,
At the end of
exactly.
the day, you're still you. You're not going to get lost in it, and you can always come back to where you need to be with
Yeah,
the appropriate skills. Yeah.
Lisa, how about you?
I like her answer.
Okay, this is
Um,
you don't get to
Did
copy off your neighbor's paper here.
well, so for me, talking about my trauma with people and sharing my story has really helped me work through a lot of it. Um, and that goes back from, just from when I was even a teenager and, in my 20s, etc. And like Sarah was saying, embracing it when it pops up. It's, I have a really hard time with that, especially when I can't vocalize to the people around me, like what's actually going on. I have a tendency to take it out on people that are closest to me.
Mhm.
mm,
And so I've been working on that communication piece. Like I'm going through it right now. I can't do confrontation. I can't do, I might sleep more or I might be
mm,
a lot more edgy. And it's hard for me to, actually vocalize what's going on because it's not that they don't want to understand, but it's hard for them to understand, being that we've had different experiences. Um, as far as working through it, I mean, I'm in therapy, that helps. um, I've got a few super close friends. A girlfriend of mine, she does a lot of meditating, and so she helps me some with that. I don't feel very good at meditation, so it's hard for me to kind of get
Oh,
on board with that. Like I always feel super scattered, but she swears by it. She's worked through a lot of her trauma through meditation, so it's something that I'm looking at maybe diving into.
yeah, I like that. Trauma for me, I guess I feel like that's just been a natural thing that I've accepted as normal in my life. Like all the trauma that I've embraced or endured or whatever you want to call it, in my life, I guess I've just looked at as, isn't this what everybody goes through? Like I realized to myself that I am not the only one that has gone through a rough childhood, a rough teenage years, a rough early 20s. I recognize a lot of that, but what I guess the reason I like to share my story is because I want to hear other people share their stories. I want to hear other people talk about it because not enough people do. Um, and so I always get told that I'm only trying to get attention for sharing my traumatic story experiences. And I'm like, why would what attention would I be wanting to get from this? What would I be hoping to achieve by that? And it's like, sure, absolutely do I want attention for this, but I want attention for it for the right reasons. I want to make sure that somebody's able to hear my traumatic experience and see how I was able to become who I am, doing what I do, and talking about what I talk about, and walk away with something from it. So yeah, I do want attention, but I want to make sure that attention is positive for people and myself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so without my trauma, I don't know if I would be able to be the person that I'm proud of being today.
Oh, I agree completely. I always say that if telling my story helps one person make a different decision or decide to take take a different step in their, in their life, that my experience wasn't in vain.
Correct.
Because again, I've found that people who aren't, because everybody has trauma. There's nobody in this world that hasn't had some kind of trauma. And for those that I feel that those that aren't comfortable talking about it or have accepted that they have trauma in their life tend to confuse trauma, like speaking about your trauma, with being the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been told like it's if it's done, it's over. Like it's done and over. Like why do you keep talking about it? Why do you keep bringing it up? It's like, ugh.
Mhm.
It's hard to explain to somebody that doesn't understand like why it keeps getting brought up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like some people tell me that I'm living in the past too much. I'm not focused on the future. I'm like, I get what you're saying. I understand when people are trying to say you need to move past that. And my response is like, don't you think I want to? Like, thank you for saying that. Instant magic switch. I'm over it. Thank you.
Right?
Mhm.
Thanks,
Like,
Captain Obvious.
I mean, when people tell me that, it's like, if you're not going to tell me that in a more like positive, encouraging way, you're really not helping, by
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute my mic because there's somebody in my driveway.
this is how horror
Sorry. I,
movies
I
begin.
apologize. I apologize.
This is during the podcast. Watch, she's gonna die during this podcast. She's gonna get shot up. It's gonna happen.
Oh
No,
my
I'm just kidding.
God.
I'm just kidding. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I think it's probably just somebody trying to sell her Walmart Girl Scout cookies.
Now I'm invested. It's too late for cookies. What am I looking at in here?
I know. Well, it's the funny thing is it's only recording you and I when we talk because it only records.
Oh, right, but I can see what's going on.
I know.
Is it
Like
toast or someone's butt? I can't
you're
tell.
just gonna narrate this now. Like I'm seeing.
There are the presents.
There's
There's
not a.
shadow.
Oh,
I
there
like.
she
Oh, it
is.
was the upside downness of a shit.
Okay.
Ugh.
She's all
You're
we're
still
seeing is
mute. You're
she's
still
muted.
mute.
She's muted, but all I see is her reactions. I don't think she's trying to talk to us. Like it's possible she's trying to talk to us.
She's like too much, guys.
I
Too
think
much.
she's speaking to somebody in the room. Like but whenever she looks at the camera, I'm concerned that she's speaking to us and we're supposed to
Hi,
be
I'm
hearing.
sorry. Okay, so
Okay.
I don't know. They were weird and creepy. So these weird ass tweaker looking fellows. Okay, maybe not tweaker. I don't know. That's my first go to.
Yeah.
They said that the transformer that's right, like there's a electrical pole with a transformer on top of it, like right at the end of our driveway. And apparently it looks like it's malfunctioning to them. And so they thought they'd pull in and knock on our door at almost 9:30 at night to be like, you should call Minnesota Power. Yeah. Okay, bye. Thanks. Bye.
Ugh. This brings me to my next point. Is busybodies, like the people who decide that they're going to try and fix and help, but they're actually not really helping. They're actually more, how do I describe this? Not
Meddling.
meddlers, yeah. um I'm kind of one of those, I can accidentally get involved into people's business and feel that I'm like I'm so balanced and so spiritually woke that I am going to be your Jedi Master, and I'm going to help you through your trauma.
I'm clearly the one with the powers here because of my
Oh,
hood.
Kendra, what's your hood?
No, you're like the dark side if you're wearing the hood like that.
Oh, well,
Not
that's cool.
necessarily.
Yeah,
Not
that's what.
necessarily. We oftentimes see like Luke or Obi-Wan, with
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
I'm blue da ba dee da ba. But you're
but
right. Busybodies are perfect example.
yeah, but I mean, and I can be that person myself. Like I was saying, is I find that, but is it me trying to feel that because I have gone through so much trauma and I've overcome it, or at
Mhm.
least I try to convince others more that I'm over it rather than myself. Like, do you ever see those kind of people? Like, or have you ever felt like you were that person where you're overly
Absolutely.
trying to convince someone else that you are mentally
Hmm.
stable, and you're
Right.
at the
You just
point,
big overcorrect. Like,
yeah, and you're also at the point where they're having a struggle, and you're the person they're confiding in. Like, all right, I am now here. I am here to now get you on the right path.
well, it's
Clearly, I'm glad you brought this to me.
it's so much easier to fix someone else's life, though.
It
Yeah.
feels like it, right? It feels like
Well,
it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I had somebody tell me once because I mean, I'm the perpetual helper. I That's what I do.
Hmm.
And a very good friend of mine, I was drained. I was just super drained, and I was just fed up with a lot of stuff. And I was like, ugh. I said, my cup has a hole in it. He's like, no, your cup has a crack in it because it keeps just running out. You keep trying to, but when you keep trying to fill it, it just keeps running out slowly and slowly because you're focusing so much on other people's problems that you don't address your own. I'm like, who asked you?
Right? I
But no,
like
and he was right.
I like to look back at the training that I know that Sara has had at the same time as I did to be a peer support specialist. One of the biggest rules in that, if you want to call them rules, is that the best way to be the expert is by not being the expert.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that.
funny you say that because I have my women's group that I do every Sunday, and the reading we did tonight was not needing to be right all the time.
Yeah.
Do you want
You
to be
don't
right all the
want
time, or do you
to.
want to be happy?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I'm guilty of that myself.
Oh, me
Like,
too.
I know you are. I know, like, we've all talked about this in many different forms. But that's so true. I find myself like in a discussion with somebody, and all of a sudden I'm in that moment where you get to that point where, like, am I just continuing this conversation because I need to be right and I cannot be proven wrong? Or what's going on? Do I actually feel that I'm going to change this person's mind? Like, what is my goal here? What am I trying to achieve? Because I bring it back to the fact of my favorite quote that I try and go with is that I am the one thing in life that I can control.
Hmm.
And I have
Yeah,
such anxiety, so I'm always trying to control other things. I have control problems. I get it. I know that. But I always have to remember that I can control myself better than I can control other people.
Yeah.
that's the groups that I do Wednesday and Sunday. We have the same reading, and um, one of them is not needing to be right all the time, and the one that really sticks with everybody is understanding when I am calm and clear, I have access to wisdom and common sense.
Yes.
I
And
like.
I I struggle with that immensely. you know.
Mhm.
But
I'm glad we have these kind of conversations and we share this kind of stuff because um, we we're not experts. We are only sharing our own experiences. We
mhm.
talk about these things. We can work in the professional field all we want, but nobody, I don't care if they have a master's degree in psychology and have been a therapist for years, no one is going to be able to perfectly understand every other person in the world. There's just no point. Like, that's just not likely.
It's just unreasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so sharing these stories is helpful because the best you can do is at least try to relate to other people. Your stories can relate to another person and hopefully inspire someone to be like, I've been feeling like that too. And I know that Lisa on the podcast shared a story very similar to that. And I think I would like to try going down that path. That's our goal here.
Mm-hmm.
It's hopefully that, like, if it does help. But one thing I learned by trying to follow so many other people based on their own experiences is thinking that, oh, I'm meant to do this. Okay, because they did it and it worked for them. And I've learned that that's not exactly my path. Like doing the training for peer support specialist, that was 2 years ago. I never actually got employed afterwards, and now I lost the credential as the certification because I never got enough CEUs. But did I learn a lot about myself and what I believe from that training? Yes, and I always will have that as long as I use that.
There's a
That
reason for
training really
everything.
changed my life.
What's that, Sarah?
I said that training, it genuinely changed my life. It's so bizarre to say, and I know everybody who has had that training tends to say that, and it's just true. Like it took a definite, different change, especially how I thought of myself, how I relate to others,
Yeah.
just yeah, really put a lot of different things into perspective, I think, too, in
Mhm.
my own life. And so that was a big, big piece of change, for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
So,
think
oh,
go, Lisa, go.
I was just gonna say, I was just thinking about this with dealing with trauma recently. I don't know if I've talked to you about it or not, Erin, but we watched this video about self-compassion,
Hmm.
which is not the same as self-esteem. I'll have to send you the video. She talks about how we don't treat ourselves how we would treat the people closest to us. Like the things that we say to ourselves, the things I say to myself, I would never say to either of you,
Right.
you know? And I, listening to that, I was thinking about that as far as trauma goes and working through that trauma and being compassionate with myself about the choices I made and about who I was then and what happened to me. And
Hmm.
that video really kind of sparked, excuse me, a thought about, well, maybe some of the stuff I can't get over, I need to just, I need to tell myself that it's okay.
Hmm.
Just because somebody else thinks I should be over it doesn't mean I have to be over it.
Yeah.
Right.
And for a long time, I struggled with that. It's been this many years. Why does it still bother me? It's been, that's not my life anymore. Why does it still bother me?
Hmm.
Mhm.
But that video about self compassion, I don't know, kind of hit home for me. Like, yeah, I'm not really nice to myself at all.
Yeah.
I pretend to be, but outward kindness to yourself is way different than the inside stuff.
Right.
At least for me, it is.
I find
Hmm.
my I find myself really always wanting to find who to blame for my trauma because there's many people that have had a hand in my trauma. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the most logical way to put it, but putting the blame on other people is only going to get me so far in my recovery.
Hmm.
Because they're not the ones that are going to help me get over it.
Hmm.
So, and though that's one struggle I'm learning a lot lately with my relationship with my dad. I think we brought that up, Lisa, when we had Dee on, and
Yeah.
she gave
Yep.
me an assignment about what is that doing for me? What is that anger towards my father doing for me? How is it benefiting me? And really
Right.
thinking about that, and it's not. I mean, that anger is literally, I've been thinking about that so much since we had that conversation. It's not benefiting me. It's really not. All it is doing is consistently holding me back and making me feel that way. And what is that feeling doing? Causing me to feel angry about other things, which is then causing more darkness and me to snap at people, me to be the evil queen, You know, that's what happens is the more anger I dwell on from my trauma, from everybody who's caused it, to whatnot. The biggest thing is that I can sit the whole day. I could sit this whole podcast and list off a whole list of people who have had a hand in the traumatic events of my life. But the one person that is responsible to get over it is me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part, knowing that, accepting that, and embracing that are all different steps. And I'm at the point of acceptance of that. So like, I know it, I accept it, but embracing those feelings, those knowing that I need to try and control myself more through the trauma,
Mm-hmm.
rather than let the trauma control my feelings and emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, kudos to you for, even giving that a try. It's hard. I fly off the handle. It's like my thing. Some
We all
days
have our thing, honey. We all have
yeah,
our thing.
well, it's funny because like sometimes it's just this dumbest stuff and the smallest thing, and I turn into a monster. It's
Yeah.
so dumb.
Sometimes I always think that that's just me. That's who I am, and I'm like,
Same.
I'll when I'm really triggered, I'll just be like, "This is who I am now. Deal with it." And I'll really honestly believe that I'm going to be in that state of mind for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could be. Do I want to be?
Mm-mm.
Really? Like, who wants to be the bad guy in everyone's story? I mean, who really does?
Nobody. Even though we are all the bad guy in someone's story, we don't want to be
Exactly.
the we don't
But
want
I
to be
don't.
the actual
Yeah,
villain.
yeah. I don't want to incur. I don't want to make it like such a prominent role in their life. You
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah. So, thank you for this good conversation. I think we've come to an end of a nice discussion.
And I
Um,
didn't get axe murdered, so
you
That was
know,
the best part. I was concerned. I was
that was
watching.
it was
well,
really weird.
Yeah.
I was worried it was a sweep stunt for like boosting our ratings or something. I
Well,
didn't
maybe
know.
it'll work. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. I should have left my mic unmuted.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Coming up to the door all unmasked
yeah, I mean,
with your
Oh,
seriously,
weird ass friend in the car.
what if this would have been really good content? Um,
What if they would
so,
have kidnapped me?
Lisa,
we
Lisa, do you have a personal goal this upcoming week?
Yes, I do. My personal goal is to keep my house clean because I power cleaned the house today. The laundry, the dishes. I made our bed. I vacuumed. La 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 la. I was very much really want to keep it like this because it really stresses me out when it's like complete chaos, which is a lot of the time. A lot.
Okay.
And
And
Good
how about
job.
a recommendation?
if you like podcasts and you like true crime, you need to listen to Morbid, a true crime podcast. It's with two women, Ashley and Elena, and they are absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
They do everything from like big name serial killer crimes to like all the way back into the 20s where like there was one of this guy killed his whole family on Christmas Day except for his eldest son, and like so they just go over a bunch of really cool stuff. I was just listening today, they were talking about urban legends, and then they did an episode on folklore, and it was all about the fairies, all about the fae, and how the fae are not like Tinkerbell.
Oh my God, no, they're actually quite
No,
not.
they're very mischievous and very devious, and yeah, and they talked about a lot of the folklore over in Scotland and Ireland, and
All right.
yeah.
All right.
So if you're into anything like that, I highly recommend them. They're very fantastic.
All right. All right. And Sarah, how about you? Goal for this week?
So my goal for this week is to keep up on my laundry so far as if I wash it and dry it, I need to fold it right away. I'm not gonna have a weird little place where there's just baskets of clothes that I have to find something to wear out of because I hate folding and putting away my laundry. So, and it's not just mine, then it's like my kids too, so it's like when you get under it doesn't take long to get under it, and when you get under it, it's just too much. So I got all of that taken care of today, and I would like to not have another heap of laundry to do by next Sunday.
All right.
You know what I mean?
How about a recommendation?
A recommendation is
She wrote it on her hand. Did you see that?
It's in my hand. So Rebel's Refinery. I first heard of them like a lip gloss. I don't know how I got my hands on it, a lip gloss in the shape of like a skull. And I thought it was so cool. So then I looked it up and then realized that they've got like all these other kinds of products and things too. But anyway, the skull that I had found and purchased or whatever was a mint flavored balm, which I love, but it's your mint balms have to be just right, and this one is just right. And you can get it in a variety of little containers now, and I just like the plain one because I feel like I get the most that way. But they also have lotion and soap and all this, and it's like ethically sourced, not harsh on your skin because I have a lot of weird skin allergies and stuff to watch out for. So yeah, I would check that out. Rebel's Refinery.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. So my goal this
What about
week
you?
Thank you. My goal this week is to try to repair a friendship right now. There's a friendship
With
of mine.
me?
Yeah.
Is it with me?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's an inside thing between Lisa. That's an thing Sarah and I when we had a really bad fight. It was really bad, and it was right in the middle of our workspace.
Like a legit fight?
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. It was
just standing there, just death staring.
Yeah, we were just. It was.
And
not
he
pretty.
was mopping a hole in the floor, just saying, "Okay, okay, oh, okay, okay."
Oh.
Okay, like got to a point where it's like that's all he could do, and you knew then you were like, "Oh no,
I broke him."
Well, if I was only saying that, it's because there was so many things I wanted to say that I was not able to say at that moment.
Kudos to you for your filter of okayness.
And Sarah can attest, I do not have much of that.
No, I know. I know that. Yes, I suffer the same.
The okay was a makeshift filter. That was like
it was just a band-aid. It was like, okay. Okay. Every time you open your mouth, you just wanted to be like,
I do that with the word fine.
You can't make
everything
this
is fine.
But yeah, so I'm trying to repair a friendship with another one of my fellow creators. I don't think our friendship is over or anything. I think we've just had some really bad miscommunications lately, and yeah, I'd really like to repair that. So that's a goal this week. Hopefully tomorrow, if it's still a nice day, we're gonna go frisbee golf, disc golf,
frolfing. I hate that word.
Yeah, but some of my friends call it frolfing. I just refer to it as disc golf, no matter what, because it seems to be the most universal. No one can see you when you're not actually talking, so
I can see Sarah,
and I can see Lisa, so that's why we're doing it.
That's all that matters. Fine, I'll talk. Fine, I'll make noise when I do it.
My recommendation this week is I decided on the theme of trauma, I decided to rewatch the whole season of WandaVision.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's really not that long once you think about it.
No, I'm just saying wow, because it just like you just watched it.
Oh no, I rewatched it. Like I re-binged the whole thing. Like I watched it as they come out every week.
Oh, I know.
But I rewatched the whole thing on my new Oculus VR.
Ooh,
Yeah,
fabulous.
and it felt like I was watching the longest Marvel movie ever. I mean, and I saw Endgame.
Well, I guess that's not your worst day then, because you love Marvel.
Yeah. 2 years ago today was the day that I had my surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 years?
It's 2 years now.
Holy shiitake.
I know it feels like so much longer in some ways.
Oh, that's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
What is that? Is that a heart? Like a real heart, I mean, not like a...
Yeah.
So I'm going to finish my
I like it.
recommendation. I'm going to
I'm
finish my
sorry.
recommendation. And that is the fact that WandaVision is very, I mean, if you've seen it, raise your hand if you've seen it. Sarah, don't lie to us.
I had to take my arm from off my head because I didn't want to falsify information.
Just do hand dance.
I find it now. I'm not actually completely. I'm not disappointed in Sarah for not seeing it. I'm kind of shocked though, because usually she's really good at keeping up with the same shows. Like when Chilling Adventures of Sabrina came out, like she was homesick from work that day, and she binge watched the whole thing before I even got home. So she was sending me Snapchats of her watching it, and I was like, I hate you.
Oh, but it's so good.
Yeah. But so WandaVision, I really like, and you really, when you watch it all the way through and you can actually piece it through with all the trauma that Wanda went through the series of the movies before, and to see where she's going, it's kind of relatable. Like if I had her power, I can't say that I wouldn't do the same.
What'd she do?
Oh, WandaVision is based on everything of her trauma. Like I can't tell you anything more. Like this is just now enough for you to watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I still have to watch the second season of The Mandalorian.
That's good.
Lisa.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier just ended this last week. And that was really good. So I think we're here at the end of the mid-season finale of To Be Fair. We will be back next month for a Maya's mental health awareness month. We'll be back again in June for Pride Month, and then we might just take off a little bit more of the summer and come back full swing in the fall with a whole new slew of episodes. Hopefully, we haven't had too many episodes in between.
Whoa.
Ehryn.
What just happened?
Ehryn.
So, yeah. It's been so much fun doing this podcast. And Sarah, we're so happy to have you as part of the regular crew.
Yes, yay.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and thanks for being patient with me when I'm not able to make it.
No worries. And one of these times we'll get Mike on with us, so all four of us will be here talking. So
that'll be a fun time.
So is there anything you guys can say that we hope that we might talk about in future episodes, like in the next part of the season? Just any goal you would hope to accomplish?
I feel like I'm on the spot. What do you mean?
That's what I do.
Like a goal for our podcast, or
like anything, hopefully to see where we go next.
I don't know. We kind of discuss everything that life has to offer. So
I really like that about our podcast is we don't put ourselves in a box. Like we don't label it to one genre or another. I don't know how to explain it to people when, what's your podcast about? I'm like,
everything.
I'm like, there's a shorter list if you ask me what it's not about.
True. And even then, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we'll come back with some more fun episodes and different conversations. Probably some specials in between. I think we'll do a get to know Sarah a little bit more episode before we come back. I know.
Fun.
We'll have a get to know Mike. So we'll do that. But until then, I want to thank you guys for joining me every week. Well, Oh, sometimes we take one off. but um but Lisa and I have been going since January, pretty
I
much.
know you guys go
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, we do. Go big or go home.
My one commitment that I actually stick to.
And so yeah, it's gonna a well-deserved break here. So
Yes.
we'll be back full swing soon enough. So until then, everybody, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Please subscribe. Anytime you subscribe, you like, you share, you're helping us out by spreading out our podcast a little bit more out there for other people
Yes.
to hear, listen, and see. So remember, right down there at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see that like, comment, share. Please make sure you follow that. Do that. Tell your friends about us. I mean, if you want to
Show strangers
traumatize,
about us. Show
yeah,
everybody about us.
if you want to traumatize people, we got you covered.
Speak for yourself.
So until then, guys, thanks.
Toodaloo.
Goodbye.